Coach, what's going on?
Everybody, thank you for joining us today. Coach, go ahead and start us off and
Yeah,
answer the question.
to eliminate the question, just wanted to give an update on Ty Berry. Obviously he injured his knee in the Nebraska game. We took the proper time to get with medical teams and all the proper imaging and all that, and it was discovered that he had a tear in his meniscus from that. And yesterday, Ty underwent successful surgery to repair his meniscus in his knee, and everything looks good on that end. Unfortunately, with the timeline, it'll put him out for the rest of the season. So obviously a blow to our team, but more of a blow to Ty. I mean, he was having the best year of his career. He's a leader on this team. You guys that are around him, he's always upbeat, his energy, and injuries stink. It's a part of sports that you just hate for all athletes. And heartbroken for him on a personal level. He's going to make a full recovery. He'll be ready to go, hopefully in the spring. And it stinks for him. Now we have to move on. Now that we kind of know this is going to be our team moving forward. We have played the last two games primarily without him. And, we have to keep going that direction. Guys are going to next man up mentality, and guys are going to have to continue to step up and do whatever it's necessary to try to fill whatever gaps we miss with not having Ty out there.
Coach, have you talked to Ty about potentially coming back next season using his final year of eligibility?
Yes, absolutely. And, today's not the day to announce any of that, but, I think the positive in this is, for a senior, knowing that that's a possibility, it doesn't necessarily end his career, right? Which would be horrible for someone in his senior year. So, we want Ty to come back, for sure. But obviously those will be discussions as we get to the end of the year and, we figure out his future plans.
Coach, obviously, like you said, you got to kind of try and fill those voids with how much he brings to you this late in the season, getting ready for March and those things as well. How do you fill the void that is now there because he's out?
Yeah, certainly from a shooting perspective and leadership-wise, those are things we're not going to be able to he's a 13-a-game scorer in the conference. He's playing great basketball. We have played primarily the last two games without him, so we're still figuring things out. But we were able to win, against two pretty good teams. So I think our guys feel confident, even though we wish Ty was with us. I think our guys are confident that we still have enough. Everybody has to collectively step up a little bit more. And the message that I've given to the guys is none of the guys now have to try to do what Ty does. Just be your best self. Bring your best self to the table every day. Bring what you can bring to help the team win. And like you saw the other night, Jordan Clayton played a little bit more than he's been playing. Blake Smith got a couple minutes. Justin Mullins needs to be ready. He's been practicing better the last couple days. And, those are three guys in particular that really weren't in the rotation that now have an opportunity as we finish the year to kind of get in there and help us, and help the guys that have been playing a lot of those minutes.
You go on to play Rutgers, the team that beat Wisconsin recently. What do you look at them as a challenge for you guys?
Well, they're playing great basketball. If you look in these last three games, they've added two players to the mix. Jeremiah Williams, who was out, the first 20-plus games. I think he was Big Ten Player of the Week this week. He's played 3 games for them. They're 3-0 since he's been in the lineup. Anytime you play at Rutgers, it's going to be a great environment, and that what you're going to be up against in terms of the physicality and defense. Coach Peichel is an incredible coach. His teams, they guard you as well as anybody in the conference year in and year out. When you play them, it's going to be a grinded out, physical kind of toughness game. And if you don't match those things, you're not going to beat them. And they're really good at home. And so we know it's going to be a tough challenge. We're going to have great poise. We're going to have toughness. We're going to be able to have to withstand little 6-point, 8-point runs throughout the way and not let the crowd and the environment kind of let the game get away from you. And that's where you lean on your veterans. It's a fun place to play, but not an easy place to play. And they're playing their best basketball. It's crazy. I feel like now almost every team we're playing is like the hottest they've been all year, right? We just played Penn State. They had won 3 in a row. Coming in the door, to Welsh Ryan on Sunday. Now we're playing a Rutgers team that's won 3 in a row and really confident. So when you play teams that are ultimately confident, you got to go and you got to you got to be at your best to be competitive.
Coach, how much does playing in that type of rock fight defensive slug-out game with Penn State help bring confidence to this group without Ty that they can play defensive bound and go back to that identity of maybe last year, especially in the RAC where every game's a slugfest?
I think it's a great question. I mean, I hopefully it gives us confidence. I mean, when you eliminate some of that scoring, inherently the scores probably are going to be a little bit lower. We were operating at such a high level efficiency, offensive efficiency. I joked before the year, I didn't know that our team maybe could get to that point, but it did. We were averaging over 80 a game in the conference. I don't know that that's going to be a recipe going forward, but it doesn't mean we can't win, right? I mean, we got 68 the other day, but it was a lower scoring kind of defensive battle, and I think our guys proved that we could win that kind of game, and we could feel good in a game like that. That wasn't just an up and down kind of who's scoring more type of a game. So we're going to have to lean on our defense even more. I think it's getting better. I think the one thing when Nick gets out there, I think what you've seen too is the rebounding has improved. Playing a little bit bigger on the wings when you have, it's not a knock on Ty, but having Brooks and Nick together with one of our big guys. I mean, we've out-rebounded our opponents the last 2 nights. So, that's been a real positive, I think, with what we've done, and we're going to have to continue that moving forward.
And with Ty being so good on the perimeter on defense, do you expect now Boo to have to take more of that workload on as that main ball guarder?
Well, I don't know if he can take on any more. I mean, I already put a lot on Boo, and there's going to be a lot on him. But no, I mean, I don't think he's going to have to take on more. I think just what you're going to see is even more increased kind of what Penn State was trying to do, right? I mean, other teams have done it, but, really trying to get the ball out of his hands, really, at times trapping him in certain areas, trying not to let him beat you by himself. And but we feel good about that. I mean, I actually even thought, even though we didn't shoot the ball, if you look, we took care of the ball the other day against a team that was pressing us. And I thought we got pretty good shots. We didn't finish some stuff around the basket, and we didn't shoot it as well from 3, but I thought our looks were pretty good in terms of when they got the ball to Boo's hands. I thought we did a pretty good job, so we're going to have to do that again, and guys are going to have to continue to shoot with confidence.
How was the team informed of Ty's injury, and what were conversations like between you and the team's leaders and players?
Yeah, I mean, Ty's best friends with all these guys, so I mean, I'm sure they knew, before I was able to even talk to the team. But, we wanted to be real careful, Matt, before kind of jumping the gun, and you wanted to make sure that we knew exactly what was going on, that we had the best doctors and the best treatment plan for Ty, for his future and his ability to get back healthy. So, he was able to kind of have clarity by the beginning of this week. That's why we had no updates on Sunday, because it was still kind of up in the air what was going to be happening with him. And, on Monday he was able to meet with the specialists and kind of get a game plan. They were able to get him into surgery yesterday. And it's one of those things with that injury, you kind of don't really know exactly what you have to do until you have the operation. The doctor has to get in there and kind of see what he's dealing with. So doctor felt great about it. Once we got the news, when he got out of surgery, it was before our practice yesterday. I was able to tell the guys before we started our film work. And obviously the guys are sad for Ty, man. That's one of their best friends. I mean, why wouldn't you be sad for someone who was having a great year and playing great and a leader on the team and such a great friend to these guys? So everybody was sad for him, but we also know that we got to move forward, and that it happens with teams every year, and it stinks. I mean, I say it, injuries stink. It's the worst part of sports, and they're unfair. There's nothing fair about this happening to someone who's worked so hard and has put himself in a position to be on our team and the success and be a leader, but you have to deal with it, right? And I know he will. He's got a great attitude. I've talked to him multiple times. He's going to attack his rehab and get himself back healthy. And like I said, hopefully, we feel that we can get him back next year and come back and go out the right way and not have injuries end his season.
Coach, you talked after the Penn State game about the importance of players staying healthy. How much trust do you have in a guy like Justin Mullins, who hasn't seen significant play time all season?
I have trust in all the guys, and it's hard. I tell the guys all the time, I wish I could play the whole roster, because we have great guys on our team. They come every day, they spend extra time, they get extra shots, they get in the weight room, they're doing all the things necessary. That's the worst part of the job for the coach, right, to make those tough decisions. And obviously he hasn't gotten a great opportunity this year. but he's got to stay ready. Things happen within a team. I've already talked to him, as I have Jordan and Blake Smith. Those are kind of the three guys most impacted by this injury, and it's time for those guys to step up. Even like, we can't take back the past, right? You can't take back what's happened. All you can deal is with what's going on today, and having those guys work. And I've told them all year long. I mean, we don't, tell these guys you got to attack every practice like it's a game, because you just don't know when your number's going to be called. And I'm confident in all those guys that they can come in and help us continue to be successful and help us win games.
Coach, obviously a lot of teams in the conference have kind of struggled on the road. I guess how's the team kind of preparing for those close games, kind of final few minutes on the road, and the ability to kind of close those games?
I think you try to learn from every game. Every game's a little bit different, right? We've had a lot of close games in general. For whatever reason, we've closed them at home, and we haven't on the road. And I think the very first thing you have to do is keep putting yourself in that position, right? I mean, keep putting yourself in a position where you can get wins like that. And if you just take the Illinois game away, where we, whatever you want to call that, it was a thrashing. The other 4 games were right down to the wire. I mean, we're right there in all 4 of those games. 2 of them in overtime. Wisconsin and Nebraska, either a 1-point game or tied inside of 2 minutes, and we weren't able to close the deal. Whether or not, part of it is you got to get stops, especially on the road. You can't rely on you can just keep scoring. In the Purdue game, we kept scoring, but we couldn't stop them. Same thing at the end of the Wisconsin game. We needed to get one big stop at, and they Store hit a big bucket. Klesman hit. We needed a big stop at Nebraska. Tominaga hits a 3 on us. So your defense has to show up at the end of games, especially on the road. But you got to learn. That's why we watch film. We talk about different situations, time, score. What's going on. Here's the mindset here. And we have veteran guys. So I know the confidence is there. We just have to keep putting ourselves in a position to do it. Hopefully tomorrow we can do that and do a better job of maybe closing the deal this time.
Coach, your team's currently on track for a double bye, potentially return to March. With tie out, do you feel that those goals are still achievable?
Absolutely. The goals don't change. It's still too early though. Those are long-term goals that you set at the beginning of the year. The great thing about this team is through 24 games, we're in position to accomplish a lot of great things. We got 7 to go though. That's a lot. There's a lot of basketball, left to be played, and we have to approach each game one at a time. Like I said, excuse me. I think these last 2 games with it's not like this is going to be the first game without Ty. What did he play? 9 minutes against Nebraska. Doesn't play against Penn State. So I think our guys were confident, seeing that even though we miss them, we can play against some good teams and still be successful. Now the challenge is going to be, can we do it on the road?
Coach, what do you see on your film because of the way Wahab rim protected on Sunday? How do you take what he did and change your game plan a little bit now going up against Cliff?
Yeah, I thought our guys, it's a great question. Both those guys are elite rim protectors. I thought we got a little bit too deep on penetration. I thought we had the ability, we were attacking Wahab a little bit too much going into his chest. And I think in those situations, you got to be smart. When you get in there, you either got to shoot the little floater or the pull-up, or you got to kick the ball. You're not going to go into these elite guys and you're not going to finish over top of them. So I thought some of our decisions with some of those shots weren't great. And, hopefully we can be a little bit smarter when we get into the lane that, if the clean look isn't there, let's find one for a teammate. All right, thank you guys. Thanks.